Alright, peace and greetings, YouTubers. So, Black Girls Rock 2017, let's just jump right into it. So I always say that representation matters. Having a voice always matters, and I think it's really important that when you belong to a demographic that sometimes doesn't get the fair recognition or the accolades, or even just the representation that they deserve, it's always important that we go out of our way to always recognize and give people, you know, their flowers while they're still here, and give people their stage to stand on in their pedestal and their platform. And so I always appreciate a program like Black Girls Rock because it brings light, you know, to the world what it is that many black women and black women of African descent around the world are doing. We know that when you're talking about media, television, a lot of things, there's black women all over the world doing all kind of crazy things that are just phenomenal, all kind of things that are just out of this world, all kind of records that are being broken, all kind of accomplishments and milestones. You don't hear about it because the media doesn't really care about black folks like that, let alone black women. So a lot of times you don't hear about a lot of the things that women are doing. And so I think it's really dope that BET has continued to keep this program going, because sometimes, to be honest, BET will start a great program and they'll cancel it or they'll end it, you know, after a few years if it's not bringing in the ratings that it should bring. And so I believe Black Girls Rock is kind of a safe zone. It shouldn't be going anywhere anytime soon. So anyway, let's jump into the show. So SZA performed. She opened the show. I think the song is Normal Girl. Normal Girl. I think that's the song she performed. Pretty good performance. I think it's a great way to open the show. I like that people are embracing her music. She's not as traditional as what the industry is trying to put out there for us to consume, you know what I mean? And so it's kind of dope that since about 2015, I really want to say 2016 onward, there's just been this influx of just like black creativity that's kind of just hit the music industry when it comes to like R&B and alternative R&B and like what a lot of black women and black men are doing. Musically, there's a lot of creativity. There's a lot of really great artists that are out there right now. You might not really know who they are because they might not be on TV, but like honestly, you dig through the trenches of the internet, you hit the blogs, you hit social media, there's some people making some really, really great music that's out there. So I'm glad that a lot of people are starting to get their shine, because, you know, if you go based on what the large companies are trying to push, you know, in our ear, what they're trying to push to us, it's like the same 10 artists. So I'm glad that there's new faces that are coming out. And so they also honored Yarah Shahidi. Now this is the young lady that is on Blackish, and for some reason, there's something about her energy I really like. I didn't know much about her other than like her being on Blackish, and by the way, Blackish is a great show if you don't watch it. What I like about Blackish is that literally every character on the show is symbolic of a different personality type. Every character is, how do I say this? Like sometimes when they do a lot of sitcoms regarding like black individuals, sometimes the characters are so generalized and they're so routine and redundant because you always get the same imaging. Blackish is a lot different than that, and I think one, because you have black writers writing it, but also because they've taken the effort to develop each and every character. Even the supporting characters on that show are developed, and so it's like every single character on that show is on a different journey. You can actually appreciate the show, and the characters are basically, it's like, how do I word it? There's a level of like an unexpectedness when it comes to what's going on with the characters on the show. You never know what each character is going to do, which is what I love about it. It's not as predictable. So yeah, Blackish is a great show. Please watch it when you get a chance. But no, what I like about her is I didn't realize she was so here. You know what I mean? A lot of times when people are, you know, in that age bracket, they're still trying to discover themselves. They're, you know, 16, 17, 18. They're trying to do what it is they're trying to do to be great. But old girl is down, like down. So when she was like, oh yeah, my parents were activists, I was like, oh, well, that explains a lot. And then I never knew that she was, you know, half Persian. Like she had a parent from Iran. I was like, okay, cool. But I like her because I think I saw either it was a TED Talk she had or it was something else she had. But she gave this speech and I was like, this girl's only like 17. She's talking like that. Man, when I was 17, I was so lost. I was like, goodness. So she's going places. I really like her energy. She's definitely going to be somebody to keep an eye on over like the next 20, 30 years. So I hope people continue to support her. And then what was really dope, the woman, if I mispronounce the name, please forgive me, but Haben Girma, I forgot the pronunciation, but this was the woman who was blind and deaf and is a lawyer. And I was like, you better get it. Like, you know, after seeing her story, that kind of makes you be like, you know, you just have absolutely no excuse at this point. If there's somebody who's blind and deaf and still can be a lawyer, and I mean, they're doing stuff in the White House, and they're, you know, bringing in all these different accolades and just breaking all kind of barriers. Yeah, let me get my life together. That's what I tell myself. And I also like that Black Girls Rock took the time to recognize everybody. Sometimes there's groups of people that sometimes don't get represented, and I like that she also speaks out for people who are dealing with her same journey as far as having a disability and everything like that. I'm glad that Black Girls Rock also took the time to recognize that and not kind of, you know, sometimes when people are trying to push images or people are trying to embrace and celebrate different groups of people, sometimes they'll push out others that don't fit the mold of what society wants people to be. And so that's dope that they included her, and she had her own segment and everything like that. And yes, give her her flowers while she's still here, so that's dope. Ledisi performed. You can never go wrong with Ledisi. Ledisi can just sing up to the rafters and stay up there like she is what you call a power vocalist. Like, she can just sing super high, and that's her pocket. Like, she can sing way up into the rafters, and that's the pocket that she just sits comfortably in. Now me, I'm not really like a singer, but listen, I don't really go up that high. I can only do that crap for like half a second. I gotta come back down. Like, nope, I ain't about to be straining and running up my blood pressure singing all the way up there. But she killed that. I really enjoyed the song High. She sounded really good, and I bet it sounded even better if you were there. Like, one thing about like the award shows when they air now, they've changed like how they do the mic feeds and everything. So like usually the music is playing through one mic feed or a sound channel, the microphone's playing through another sound channel, and sometimes the audience is in another sound channel or the same one with the microphone. And so when it comes back on TV, sometimes it doesn't sound as good as it does in the venue. But this one sounded really good just watching it on TV. So I can imagine how good it must have sounded while you're in there with the band and the acoustics and everything just kind of saturating the room. Ledisi ate that, and Ledisi just, I really enjoy her. She's definitely been doing it for like the last 15 years as far as like being consistent in the industry. Every album I bought of hers has always been really good, especially the last one that came out. I think that was like 2014, maybe even 2013 when it came out. I don't know if this new project, if the album is out yet or not. I might be behind. If it is, I'm gonna go get it. But yeah, Ledisi's dope. They honored Issa Rae. Issa Rae's really blown up in the past few years. I'm really happy for her success as well. And I kind of like her personality, and I like that she is pretty much true to herself. She represents a demographic of people who I think sometimes get placed in a bubble because they don't really fit within the scope of how people see them based on what society tells them to be like. And I'm not going to try to make this about me or anything, but I feel like that kind of, I can relate to her experience just being somebody who, you know, grew up in both Europe and the United States. There were just some things that I just did differently from some people. Some people would always like, you're just weird, or you're a little awkward, or you're a little bit different, or you don't always fit the traditional gender role of what we think a black man should be like. And so watching her embrace, you know, I don't even want to use the word awkward because I don't like awkward. I think she should find a different word, but that's part of her brand. But, you know, watching her embrace her uniqueness, it's like, okay, cool. Well, it's cool for everybody. Because I think even though they've kind of placed it where it's, okay, well, this is something that's inspiring for girls, I feel like for other men, too, it can be the same thing. Sometimes we let gender roles stop us from embracing things that can help us grow because you don't want to be pushed in a bubble, or you don't want to be labeled as something that you think is something you don't want to be labeled as. So, she definitely has done a lot. Honestly, when I first started my web series years ago, which is no longer being in production, but it's okay, Awkward Black Girl, or Adventures of Awkward Black Girl, is kind of something I had studied a little bit just to kind of take note from. But yeah, anyway. And then they also honored Erica and Natalie Wilson. And these two had started the Black and Missing Foundation, which again is another huge issue we're dealing with in society, where black people are going missing all the time, and there's just no media, anything. There's no big hoopla. There's no Amber Alerts. There's no Let's Stop the World. There's no streets being blocked off with police and looking and scavenging. It's like a lot of times when black people go missing, there's no response, especially with teenage girls and teenage boys. People are always assuming, oh, well, they're runaways. That's why they're caught up in something. And depending on the zip code where the child goes missing, a lot of people assume, well, if they're in a zip code or an area code where, you know, there's a whole bunch of crime or there's a lot of high poverty, well, then they're just being a product of their environment. They'll come home. When they come home, they're doing something they're not supposed to be doing. And so people, or the masses, don't make an effort to really go out and look for a lot of these people. And especially like this area out here, like I'm in D.C., like in that whole Northern Virginia area and Maryland area, it's a really high area for human trafficking. Especially like Fairfax County, Virginia is like, I think, #1 in the country for human trafficking, either #1 or #3. And so, I mean, there's kids going missing all the time. And a lot of times people assume that these kids have jumped and went on to do some things like, oh, they met somebody on the internet, they ran away. And so there's a lot of kids who are going missing, and there's not a big urgency to go and, you know, find them. And so it's dope that these women have started this program. They did mention Ledisi Rudd, which is a young lady that, long story short, she and her mother, I think they lived in like the homeless shelter, and the mother, basically she'd been missing for days. The mother knew she was gone for a long period of time and everything like that, and when they finally reported her missing, she was, allegedly some guy took her somewhere, but then the guy was found dead because he killed himself, and so nobody knows what's really going on with the Ledisi Rudd situation. A lot of people think that she's a victim of human trafficking and that she's actually still alive, and so you know, that's a case that's ongoing, and it's something that people in DC are still talking about. But, you know, it's important that we jump and we support these kind of outlets and these organizations and these companies that are trying to do things to keep our community, you know, informed about what's going on. Because the thing about it is, if you're ever in a family that has somebody that goes missing, you don't get your closure if that person is never found. Even if they're no longer with us and they're deceased, it's really hard to get closure about a situation if it's not really solved. You know what I mean? And so that was a great program they started. Tasha Cobbs performed. I kind of missed a piece of hers because then somebody knocked on my door asking to borrow some nonsense. And so, yeah, I miss a lot of Tasha Cobbs. But Tasha Cobbs always sings down. Break Every Chain is my mama's favorite song. That's all she used to play after my father died. She loves that song. So she didn't sing Break Every Chain, though. She sang another song. But Tasha Cobbs killed it, ate that too. Put her and Ledisi in a duet together. Y'all gonna have to turn the microphones down because they're gonna eat that stage alive. They did that. Oh, this part I enjoyed. Roberta Flack. So Roberta Flack, I have always felt is somebody who never gets the same accolades as some of her other musical peers. You know, we love to give praise to Gladys and Patty and Aretha and Shaka and Natalie and Dion and some of the other ones. And sometimes Roberta kind of gets left in the shadows. So I was really glad somebody gave her her moment. My first, I want to say, introduction to Roberta had to probably be Killing Me Softly, and it was only because I remember I was probably 8 or 9, I think it was the VMAs, and the Fugees were performing Killing Me Softly, and then they actually brought out Roberta, and at the time I was like, who's that? Because you know, as a child, whatever's going on in your era, you think your era is the first to do everything. And so when they brought her out and they performed, I was like, no, this is the original lady that sings the song. And I was like, huh? What? It's not the Fugees? What? And so then I was kind of like, as I got older, I started to appreciate her more. She went to Howard just like I did. And so I think my favorite song of Roberta has to be I Feel Like Making Love. Like the little That's the Time I Feel Like Making Love. The strolling in the park, watching winter turn to spring. I love that song. Like, it's a really, really dope song. I like her because she's like a light feathered vocalist. And all of those songs and duets she had with Donny Hathaway, between that and Back Together Again, that's probably my favorite up-tempo they had. I forgot the words. And Back Together Again. Like, that song goes in. You Are My Heaven is a wonderful one. Where's the Love? The Closer I Get to You. Like, You've Got a Friend. Like, they just got songs and songs. And then she has her own catalog that's great as well. And I'm not really sure what's going on with her health. It kind of scared me a bit to see her rolled in on a wheelchair. Somebody was saying that she had a stroke. And so that might make sense from some things. That kind of scared me a bit. For something, for some reason, it gets under my skin that we get older because I don't like watching, you know, our legends and everything get older and become sickly and stuff. That kind of just gets under my skin, hurts my heart a little bit. But no, I'm glad that she was honored. And then the Arie and Tyrese tribute was perfect. They sounded so good together when they did Where's the Love. Like that, they should honestly record a version of that. I really, really enjoyed that. That was a wonderful version, a wonderful take. The way that their voices just balanced and blended, it was awesome. Who else? Oh, Solange was honored. She was kind of giving me a whole Janet Velvet Rope circa 1997 look. I kind of liked it. It was kind of dope. It reminded me of like the mid to late 90s how she was dressed. I like Solange because she's just she's her own person. She's free-spirited. And to be honest, Solange has been on a journey for the longest. Like, if you're old enough to remember, like, when she first started to become, I guess, known to people outside of Destiny's Child or that whole Beyonce clan, she's always been on a journey. Like, if you go back to, like, her solo star era, I remember she had a song called, I think it was Crush or something. But even in the video then, I never realized how, like, down she always has been. Like, even in that video, I think it's the video Crush or something, like, the video shows her, like, a black pride type of rally or parade or something like that. And then, you know, when she came out with the next album, the music is just, she's just dope. I appreciate her. She's on a journey, and I like that she's been transparent and she's been honest. So, you know, when she makes her mistakes and everything like that, she's taking you there with her. And I like that she's unapologetically black. She's just herself, and now she's really blossomed into something that's, like, just awesome. Her album is so critically acclaimed. It's really, really awesome album. Cranes in the Sky still has replay value, even though it's been out for like a year and a half. It still sounds just as good as it did when it first came out, and that's because she used all real instruments and it wasn't computer programmed. That's why it sounds so good. You know, all those songs that are done with live bands are just timeless, so they'll never get old to your ears. That's a really good album, by the way. I like the song Mad as well. It's a really great song. Yeah, I like Solange. I want to see where she's going to keep going. And I also think she influences a lot of other people. I even think Beyonce is inspired by some of the things that she does as well. And so it's kind of cool to just see black women really coming to their own, and she's really found her own artistry in her own lane. And so, you know, Beyonce and Solange together are two sisters that are kind of just, they're very different but very similar, but they both offer just really great things to the music industry. So, you know, they're always dope. Appreciate them. And then, of course, they honored Maxine Waters. And, you know, we all love Auntie Maxine. People are really falling in love with her now, based on the last 2 years. I've never met her, but I've always heard pretty good things about her. I remember her from basically when I was little. I remember like there was the LA riots. I remember that's when I first started seeing her. I didn't realize that she was like a congresswoman because I was so little. But I remember when the LA riots and everything was going on. I will always remember there was, either this is around the time they were starting to clean up after the riots, or the riots were winding down or something like that. And it was I remember seeing it on the news. It was something like maybe they were giving food or something. And so there was a ton of people outside, thousands of people. And the media and the police were afraid that these people were going to riot and tear up some stuff. And she literally just went up there in front of the crowd and was like, all right, we're going to do this. We have something for everybody. We're going to do this in like a decent and orderly fashion. And, you know, can you do this with me? Like basically at a time when, you know, if you're really talking about the riots, this was a time period where people didn't want to hear anything that politicians had to say. This is a time period where people were like, you know, F all y'all, because all y'all crooked and corrupt. She was able to somehow keep that entire collective of people calm, and they listened to every single word that she said, and I think that's because she knows her constituents. And literally, like, that whole thing, what the media thought was going to be a huge hoopla, and was going to be like round 2 of the riots, none of that happened. They all went and did exactly what she asked, and it was cool. And so, you know, her district has been continuing to re-elect her every year. I don't live in that district, so maybe I'm getting a Sesame Street, Euphoria, Eureka's Castle happy version of what she's doing in her district. So, but I'm just saying, from what I've seen, you know, she seems to be really genuine and down to earth. And also Anthony Hamilton performed the amazing song. If you didn't get his last album, I would suggest getting it. It's really good. I really like the song Take You Home, and I like the song Still in Love, and Never Let You Go. Like, actually, it's a really dope album, by the way. And Walk in My Shoes, really great album. And I like that he has his brothers and his cousins and everybody that sing with him on his team. And I mean, that's pretty much Black Girls Rock. I didn't want to talk too long. But yes, I definitely enjoy Black Girls Rock every year. I also enjoy BET Honors. They didn't do it this year for some reason. But yeah, Black Girls Rock, I always think we should always celebrate our black women. They're not always celebrated. I always say there's always like an assault out on black people in general, but black women specifically really get the brunt of everything. And so it's important that we go out of our way to embrace and celebrate our black women while we have them here with us. Which is why there's a song on my album called Black Woman that you can get on iTunes. Symphonic Euphoria, that's the name of the album. Just look up Calvin Michaels. But anyway, that's it. We'll see what goes on. I would like to see Black Girls Rock on even a larger platform. Hopefully more people invest into it. It's been a program that's been out for, like, I think more than a decade, but it's just now starting to be, you know, televised as of like the last few years. And again, if you missed it, definitely check the rerun. Make sure your kids and stuff watch something like this. You know, it's always great for them to see people who look like them or people who share the same experience having these great achievements and accomplishments, because it makes them want to do great. I'm only saying that because I work with kids. And so make sure, you know, the kids are watching it, everything like that. Anyway, I'm out. Subscribe.